Hey guys, in this video I will be discussing about recursion questions that I have told in the previous lecture that you have to practice more on recursion. So in this lecture I will be solving more questions on recursion so that you can be in that position that you can solve any kind of problem, because recursion is one of the most important things in the whole DSA. So let's start. Starting off with some new problem which you haven't seen in this lecture before. So is it working? Yes, totally fine. Let's okay. So my first question is that you have to count a number from n to 1. Okay, if user give a number n and your task is to just printing from that number to 1, then how you should do? So if you define a integer n and just you are taking the input from user and just you have to print counting. So basically this question I have explained using iteration method. So the same problem can be solved using recursion. So how you can use it? So basically for that reason I'm creating a void function and the name of the function is print counting, and let's make n as a variable. So basically what we have to do, so we have always two cases. First the base case and recursion call, and sometimes if possible these are processing. If needed, these are all optional. So that's how the whole code of recursion is working. So you have to print if the input is n, let's say n is equal to 5, then you have to print from 5 to 1. So what should be the base case? So base case should be quite simple. Let's say if n is equal to 1, if someone will give you n is equal to 1, then you have to just print 1, that's it, and just return. Okay, so that's how the whole code is working. And after that you have to just print the n, yn. I will explain it to you. So basically if n, let's say, is equal to 5, then just 5 will be printing, because n here 5 is not equal to 1, so that's why this code will not be executed. So that's how 5 will be printed is your processing block. And after that you have to just call the recursion again for what? For next one, which could be n minus 1. So let's execute and let's see what is the output. So if I'm giving as a input 5, then it will be printing from 5 to 1. You can play and you can manage if you want to print counting from 1 to n. How you can do? You have to change some sort of things in this function. Just head recursion or tail recursion, you should understand all those stuff, then you can easily do all those questions. So let's move forward to another problem. And in this problem, what is given? So basically your task is to find the power of 2. Let's say what is the power of 0? 2 to the power 0. Okay, so we all know what it is 1. And just 2 to the power 1, what it is 2. 2 to the power 2 is equal to 4, then 2 to the power 3 is equal to 8, and so on. So how you can find that thing using recursion? So let's make a function for that. Okay, so basically I'm creating a power function, power of 2. Okay, I'm just passing it into the variable. I'm just creating a function, and let's say I'm creating a int type of function, and you can create either int or void as you wish. And in this function, what should be the base case? So as we know that any number to the power 0 is equal to 1. If n is equal to let's say 0, then you have to return 1. So that's how the whole code will be working. So this is your what? This is the base case. Okay, so let's move forward. And if we need processing or recursion call. So in this case, you can you don't do you don't need to do anything, just you have to print 2 multiply by the same number with lesser power, and just you have to return the answer, or you directly return this thing, but for that simplicity I'm using all those stuffs. So let's see, I'll explain in this code again so that everyone of you can understand easily. So let's move forward and just executing the code. What should be the 2 to the power 3? So as we know that answer should be equals to 8. Is it printing? No, it is not. Why it is not printing? Because this is an int type of function. So if you do this kind of thing, then that will be working absolutely fine. It's perfectly fine. And if you give the input as 4, then it will be equal to 16. So that's how. And if for, let's say, n is equal to 5, then the answer should be 32. That is perfectly and absolutely fine. You can make it for n is equal to 3 to the power n or 4 to the power n, as you wish. You can make and do a lots of permutation combination in this problem. So this is how this kind of things can work. So in what you have seen in this thing, that this base case has to be there in recursion, and the recursion call has to be there in recursion. And in some cases there is a processing block, or in some cases there is no need for that. So it is all depends upon the basically is it is needed or not. You have to just think. This is the basic what should I say, it's your approach while solving all the problems. Okay, so let's move forward. And basically in this problem, uh, what is given? So basically we have searched from a linear search algorithm that you have to traverse the whole array and just find it out that the element is whether present or not. So let's move forward and let's see that is the linear search can be implemented using recursion or not. So let's create something like int arr, and let's say the values are, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 50. And after that, what should be the size of the array? As you can see it like 5. Okay, and let's say the target, let's say I want to search is 20 present in the array or not. Let's create a function which is linear search recursion. So let's pass all those stuffs, size, this array, the size, and the target. And you also have to pass one thing which you are not passing in that code, which is the index. What is the index? From where the code your indexes of the array is getting started. So what is it? Index is equal to 0. From 0 your basically index is starting, that the array is basically starting from 0, as we all know. So that's how the whole code is working. So let's create a boolean type of function which will be returning either true or false, so that you can easily find it out that whether I'm doing correct or not. So let's int arr and int what the size, and int what target target target, and int index. So this is how I'm creating the whole function, for that reason, because it's quite, I have to word wrap all this stuff. So yeah, it's quite good. So what should be the base case? So basically what was the approach? So you have to just traverse the whole array. After traversal, what you get, if you get the number, then you have to return true, and if you don't get the number, then you have to return false. That was the basic concept through the what, through the iteration method that we have already solved in the array lectures. So what should be the base condition? If index is greater than equal to what, the size, like the index is now starting with 0 and now it is greater than the size, it means that you have traversed the whole array. If you traverse the whole array, then if you don't get the target, then you have to return what, false. because I am writing a logic for true in some different block of code. So what will be the different block? That if ARR of index, and which is equivalent to the target or equal to the target, then I have to just what return true, and which is my processing block. This is my base case and this is my processing block, and just I have to call the recursion, which is, let's say, int, or let's say, what should I say, bool answer is equal to linear, where I am passing the array, the size of the array, the target, as well as the index, not index plus 1, y plus 1, because I have to traverse the whole array. For if you dry run this code for index is equal to index plus 1, that the index which is pointing now will be on the next element of the array. So that's how the whole code is written, and just return answer. So let's see, is it working fine or not? You have to just see out all those stuff. So that's, it will be printing 1 because it is present. Let's say for 200 which is not present in there, it will be returning 0. Absolutely fine. If you directly return this thing, let's say if you are not doing all those stuffs and just returning, okay, so it's a boolean type of function, just perfectly fine for that. And for 20 it will be returning plus 1. Yeah, it's quite true. So you can easily see how the code is working. So basically, if you basically remove this statement, no, you can't remove, because you have to return something from this function. So that's how the whole code is working. So let's move forward with another problem if we have. So let's see. Okay, so basically this is your last problem, and after that you have some homework problem which I will be sharing you that, and if there is a time then I will definitely solve the problem. So you have to find the minimum number in the array. So let's say this is your array, which is, let's say, 20, 30, 10, 5, and let's say 11. Okay, so this is your array which has been given in your problem, and the size of the array is quite simple, that you can see it, that it is equal to 5, and your index is now starting with 0, and just you have to find minimum recursion. So through recursion you are finding whether what is the minimum number, the minimum element from the array. So for that reason I'm creating a void function for that, and in void function I'm passing what, the array, the size of the array, or what, the index. Okay, so basically what should be the base condition? So you have to pass ARR, size, and index. Okay, so base condition, if you traverse the whole array, then your index will be now pointing to like that size. Okay, then you have to just return, yeah, you have done something. And the logic of, and you have to also, yeah, I was just missing that, you have to return some, make a variable of mini which should be pointing to int max. I have explained it to you why I'm used for calculating minimum thing. I have to initialize the minimum variable with int max, and I have to pass the mini min. No, this should not be a variable because min is also a function which is already predefined, so you have to just change the name, and you have also passed it into. So the mini should be equals to min of what, min, the min, the comma ARR of index. Okay, so that's how your processing block is being working. Okay, and now what you have to do is like just calling recursion. So how we can call directly by using this, because this is a void type of function, that ARR the size as well as the index plus 1. Now it is pointed to the next element, so that's how I'm doing, and just passing the mini. So that's how the whole code is working. So let's execute this code, and what should be the answer? That answer should be equals to 5. So is it printing or not? So after that you have to print mini. For that reason I think I have to pass this mini as reference, I think. Let's see. 5. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So how the code is working, and I will explain it to you again. So I've created a function mini recursion, and in this function what I have to do is I have passed the array, the size of the array, the index where the array is starting, and I have also passed the mini. I have a created variable which will be storing the minimum value of the array, and after that I'm just printing this mini. Okay, so what should be the base case? So if you basically traverse the whole array, then you have done something. So if you have done something, then you have to just return from that function, from that stack. Okay, and your processing block should be like that. Your mini should be equals to the the basic logic that I have explained the same code in the array lecture also, that how we can calculate minimum in the array. So through iteration we are doing exactly same code. I'm just basically copy pasting the same thing. Okay, and I'm just calling the function minimum recursion, how all those things are going to be working. So it's absolutely fine. Then I'm just basically doing for the next index. So how we can do it? Either you can write index plus plus or index plus 1, both are same thing, and that's it, how the code is working. I have a homework problem that you have to solve. That basically, let's say you have an array, let's say 10, 11, 20, 24, or 23, or 30, or 35. This is your array given, and you have given the size of the array, which should be equals to, let's say, what is the size? 6. 6 is the size of this array, and basically you have another array or answer array. Okay, let's say of size 6, or it may be size of anything. This is your homework, and you have to basically, you have given an array. Okay, and the size of the array is also given in your problem. Basically, through recursion your task is to create another array. Okay, you have created that array. Okay, just what you have, your task is to only push the element from ARR which are even in nature. So you have to just print, you have to create, let's say, answer array, and in that answer array you have to just write like 10, because 10 is an even number, 20 which should also be an even number, 30 which is also an even number, and that's it. So how you can use all those steps? First you just think like a brute force approach, not a brute force approach, iteration method, how you should do, because the iteration method should take less time complexity as compared to your recursion, but for learning purpose you can find out how you can use all those stuff using recursion. So that's I have completed and given all the things that I have you should know about recursion. So guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video really helpful, so subscribe this YouTube channel and like this video. Thanks.